Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, welcome back. It is Monday, and we are almost in December. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, and video always live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com. If you go to the website, also you can sign up for our 12 Days of Christmas starting December 7th. Lots of things that we're giving away, so sign up for that. Anyway, if you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400 is the phone number. We have a lot to get into today, a lot of high school sports going on. Big, massive, gigantic, huge Panther news to get into. I'm not happy, and I'll tell you why. And also, we have, normal NFL games going on. We will talk a little bit about the rest of the league. There were some very important games over the weekend. And believe it or not, the Panthers are not eliminated from the playoffs. You know, if they win like 4 games in a row, they'll be right back in it. It's not over. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about. We're going to start with the high school scene, and we have officially determined who will be playing in the Final Four in 1, 2, 3, and 4A. So we're going to waste no time with it whatsoever, getting right into things with the 1A division. And in the 1A bracket, we had Robbinsville beating North Rowan in the West 44-14, and Mount Airy beating Eastern Randolph, that is, by a final score of 42-21. So we have a bunch of 1s and 2s in the Final Four for the 1A. The 1 seed Tarboro will be taking on the 2 seed West Columbus, and the 1 seed Robbinsville takes on the 2 seed Mount Airy. That is how the 1A brackets look. Regional round starts December 1st, and then the championships are a little after that. So we're only a couple of weeks away from crowning a state champion here in football. Going on to the 2A bracket, Reedsville destroyed Bunker Hill by a final score, 41-26. A lot of 40 burgers being put up. And Shelby eked out a win against Forest Hill by a final score. This one was close, 37-30. Unfortunately, the 11 seeds miracle run seems to have ended. So here's how it shakes down. Reedsville takes on Shelby. That's the 1 against the 7. And then on the other side of the bracket, in the East, you have Clinton, the 1 seed, taking on the 2 seed Northeastern. Looking at the 3A bracket, on the West, we're only going to really cover the West because that's the side that we're familiar with. Who cares about those Eastern Carolinians? Crest High School, they unfortunately lost. The 1 seed has gone down. Dudley, the 4 seed, has beaten them 46-34. And then the 2 seed Hickory, there you go, Hickory, 28-16. They move on to the Final Four. So the 2 seed Hickory will host the 4 seed Dudley. Hickory still without a loss on the year. They're trying to run the table. And on the other side of the bracket, 71st High School and Northern Nash High School, a 2 and a 13 will be going at it. A little bit of an upset there with a 13 seed traveling through, beating the 1 seed to get here. They beat the 1 seed 42-21. That is some game right there. And with the big schools, the 1A bracket, Weddington beat Grimsley 44-27, and Independence continuing their incredible run as a 23 seed, won their game against Butler by a score of 10-7. A low-scoring game there, but a win nonetheless. So the 1 seed Weddington will now host Independence. And on the other side, Cardinal Gibbons, the 5 seed, takes on Hoggard, the 3 seed. No ones or twos coming from the East on that bracket. That's probably the most mismatched one, especially because we have a 23 seed going into the Final Four here. That is incredible. So good runs there, and we only have a couple of weeks left of the high school football season. We will make sure to talk about who is going to win, who the crowning champions are, and bring all of that to you here. Other than football, though, we have high school basketball going on, as well as college basketball, but do you really care about that until March anyway? Come on now. Starting up with the Lake Norman area schools, Mooresville basketball, they had a couple of games over the weekend. They split, so they beat East Mecklenburg and then lost to North Mecklenburg. They almost got doubled up against North Mecklenburg, losing 97-49. Whoo, boy, that is a score for a high school game, 97 points. Lake Norman still remaining undefeated. They also played a couple of games after Thanksgiving, beating Caldwell Academy and Davidson Day School. So they moved to 4-0. Their next game isn't until tomorrow. It'll be at against Mount Tabor at home before they go on a quick little 3-game road trip. And coming a little bit farther north here to Statesville, the Statesville Greyhounds, they have a game nowhere near here. Their next game isn't until December 8th. So they had their first game of the year early November, second game of the year middle November, and now they got to wait till the 8th of December to play the next game on their schedule. They're on the road against Mooresville before finally coming home for a game. West Iredell also has a game coming up tomorrow. They didn't play over the weekend, but they have Wilkes Central. They will be traveling for that one, as well as North Iredell also on the road, taking on West Rowan, those games at 7:30. And South Iredell, they're also on the road tomorrow, taking on Bandy's High School. 8 o'clock start time on that one. So a little bit later, you want to make sure you have your clock set right. I know the time change happened a while ago. We shouldn't have a problem with that. But definitely make sure you're aware of what time these basketball games start and the football games coming up on Friday, because we only have a few games left in the high school football season. We're in the Final Four. It was a quick season, huh? It feels like it just flew by. We'll make sure to keep you updated on all of the high school stuff going on throughout the year. Every day, segment number 1 is High School Central here on the Scoreboard. When we return from our first break of the day, I guess we got to talk about the Panthers, huh? I'm not happy. I'm going to warn you right now, I'm not happy. Stay tuned for that. We'll talk about the Panthers as well as other things going on around the NFL. Then we'll bring it back to college and wrap things up. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. We're back after this.
More of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The Docksiders, performing at Kane Center for the Arts on Saturday, December 9th, are almost sold out. The Docksiders will take you back to the year 1981. Their unique and electric tribute act of yacht rock features songs from Hall & Oates, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and more. The Docksiders, Saturday, December 9th at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Community singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius, each evening at a different church, Community Singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The Community Singers of Lake Norman, lakenormansings.com. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back! Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Enjoy some time with Santa and the Winter Wonderland experience, a classic Christmas in Mooresville, Friday, December 8th. For more info, visit mooresvillenc150.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Clear skies throughout the evening tonight, but that temperature will be dropping below freezing. We'll be at 28 degrees tonight. Heading into tomorrow, sunny skies, but we won't be warming up too much. We'll only have a high temperature near 47 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hello, friends. This is Dwight with Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, inviting you to join the Gullion family and staff in praising the Lord for 30 years of providing you with trustworthy and inspiring books, Bibles, music, gifts, and supplies. We so appreciate your support and friendship over all these years. With locations in King and Statesville, North Carolina, visit us again soon for encouraging fellowship and essential provisions for your Christian life. Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, where the Bible stands.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we are back. Segment 2. You are listening to the Scoreboard, WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM, 704-873-1400 is the phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about. I feel like we're about to strike some nerves here with our conversation into the Carolina Panthers season. Breaking news as of this morning. Now, if you listen to WSIC a lot, you may have heard me on Good Morning LKN talking with Justin Kazepis about the possibility of a coaching change here in Carolina. And I told him they better not do it mid-season because they did it mid-season last year. And if you do that 2 years in a row, you're going to be hard-pressed finding coaches, free agents, fans who want to come to Carolina. And, well, not even an hour after that segment aired, we got news that head coach Frank Reich has been let go by the Carolina Panthers. Here is the statement from owner David Tepper. I met with Coach Reich this morning and informed him that he will not continue as head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I want to thank Frank for his dedication and service, and we wish him well. Effective immediately, special teams coordinator Chris Tabor will serve as our interim head coach. Senior assistant Jim Caldwell will be a special advisor to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, who will once again take over play calling duties. I mean, what a mess, man. back-to-back years of firing your head coach in the middle of the year. And now last year we went on a little bit of a run and kind of made a statement towards the playoffs. You know, Matt Rule got fired and Steve Wilkes took over, and it was like, hey, we won a couple of games. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, because right now the Panthers are 30th in the league in total offense and 30th in passing yards per game. Just in case you weren't aware, that is bad. That is very bad. They need some kind of a spark here in Carolina, and I just don't know if firing your head coach in the middle of the year for the second time in a row is necessarily the way to do it. Now, I get it. The team is flat. They look terrible. They haven't scored 15 points since the bye week. Their defense has been carrying them the entire season. I mean, look, if the Panthers could score 25 points a game, this is a completely different season. Completely different. They are in the playoff hunt, but they can't even score 15 points a game. When you look at the last few games that the Panthers have played, after the bye week, they beat the Texans 13-15. They scored 15. That was the last time they scored 15. Then they lost 27-13, a loss 16-13, a 33-10 loss, and a 17-10 loss. You scored 25 in those, and hey, those couple of those losses turned into wins. Even earlier in the year, the Vikings held them to 21 points. The Saints held them to 20 points. Even the first game of the year, Falcons were held to 24. The offense has been horrific. The weapons have been horrific. The blocking has been probably one of the worst offensive lines in the 2000s, to be honest with you, like since the turn of the century. This is horrible football that we watch every single Sunday. And somebody had to pay for it. That's just how it goes in the NFL. Somebody's got to pay the price. And right now, as of today, that is Frank Reich. Now, I don't know if Scott Fitterer is going to stick around. If it were me, I'd get rid of him, because I don't know how you turn away 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns and then go trade 2 first-round picks and your starting wide receiver, number 1 wide receiver, for a quarterback who doesn't have anybody to throw to. Just me, though. We'll see what happens. I really don't know what the rest of the season's going to look like. It's going to be an interesting one, because I don't think that they're looking for Chris Tabor to step up and become the head coach after this season. Steve Wilkes, that was a possibility. But we've seen special teams coordinators try to be head coaches. It doesn't have a very high success rate. So I think this is just a stopgap. And who knows? We're a few years into the tenure here now of David Tepper, and it hasn't been good. Every year, it seems like we're saying, "All right, this is the year we put it together and start to build something. This is the year we put it together and start to build something." Well, this was the year we were supposed to begin building something, and 1-10, one of the worst offenses in the league. The guy drafted right behind Bryce Young, MVP candidate, probably rookie of the year, currently in playoff contention. And here are the Panthers, 1 win early in the year. Well, not early in the year. It was a couple of weeks ago, but 1 win in the entire year so far. And guess what? It doesn't look better going forward. I'm not going to give you the shiny outlook here. You got the Buccaneers coming up. Okay, that's not horrible. That is, dare I say, winnable, because, I thought the Titans was a winnable game, and even though they only lost by 7, they didn't look good. But the Buccaneers are 4-7, so winnable game there. Then you got 2 more division games. Saints and Falcons, who have pretty decent teams this year, and I don't expect the Panthers to beat. Packers, Jaguars. Whew. Packers are such an up and down team, and the Jaguars, they seem to have figured something out over there. And then the Buccaneers to end the year. So if they split with the Buccaneers, which maybe they will, they got one more win coming their way on the year. The way the offense is played, I don't see it changing. I don't see a better outlook. Now, who knows? A new head coach always strikes some kind of oomph into a team. You know, like you fire your coach and all of a sudden the players are like, hey, we better get our butts in gear here and figure it out. And then, you know, that'll usually last a couple of games before that feeling of, hey, we got fresh blood in here, before that feeling wears off. But it's too little too late for the Panthers. Bad decision after bad decision, bad management after bad management, dare I say, a bad owner. It's just not looking good right now because and I've talked about this before, we have an owner who wants to go in there with the cooks and tell them how to cook. And that's the situation the Panthers are in. I don't know how they're going to attract a coach this year. Who's going to want to go to Carolina, where the number 1 overall draft pick franchise guy looks terrible? They can't protect him. You don't have a first-round pick this year. You don't have a second-round pick next year. You would have the number 1 overall pick this year, and you could either trade down and get some assets or go after the number 1 wide receiver prospect in Marvin Harrison Jr. But no, you can't even do that because you messed up so bad that you're the worst team in the league, and now you're a laughingstock, honestly. This doesn't happen. This should never happen. This is something the Browns would do, where you trade for the number 1 overall pick, and then you're so bad next year, you're the worst team in the league, but you don't own your number 1 pick. Gotta say what's got to be said here. That's something the Browns would have done back when they were the laughingstock of the league. We have it right now. It's right here in the Carolinas, the laughingstock of the NFL. Nobody respects this team. Nobody respects the ownership, the coaching staff, nothing. They're terrible. And they look at every single... I mean, Bryce Young looks so dejected out there. Give him a little bit of help. Something. Do something. And they finally do something. They get rid of the coach. But is that really something? We'll have to see. We'll see what happens. I don't like it. I think you had to stick by him. Yeah, I know it has been a terrible year, but firing him today is no different than firing him at the end of the season. The only difference that it makes is look, and it looks terrible that you have fired back-to-back coaches in the middle of the season. Players aren't going to want to come here. Coaches aren't going to want to come here. And the fans will stop filling the stadium. We're going to end our Panthers rant here. When we come back from break, we're going to wrap up the Sunday games in the NFL, plus the Turkey Day games, plus the first ever Black Friday game. Then we'll get into some college sports after that. You're listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
Randy Marion in Statesville continues to grow. We have added Mitsubishi on Folger Drive. So what does that mean? That means great deals on a new make and model in Statesville, but it also means Ford Pre-Owned is moved right on Gateway Crossing Drive beside the Ford and Lincoln new car showrooms. So come see us today, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, pre-owned vehicles, Gateway Crossing Drive.
RandyMarionFord.com.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Clear skies throughout the evening tonight, but that temperature will be dropping below freezing. We'll be at 28 degrees tonight. Heading into tomorrow, sunny skies, but we won't be warming up too much. We'll only have a high temperature near 47 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. That's 800-478-4170.
This is North Carolina Senator Vicki Sawyer. Join me on Fridays at 11 a.m. for our show, We're Just Saying. We'll discuss state and local politics, and as always, take your calls here on News Talk WSIC.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
Hi folks, Pat Shannon inviting you to join me for the Home Ad Show. We help you sell things, buy things, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and have a lot of fun in the process. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11, here on News Talk WSIC.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
The Panthers make a coaching change. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
On Monday, the Carolina Panthers parted ways with head coach Frank Reich 11 games into the season. Carolina currently has the NFL's worst record at 1-10, and the offensive struggles have never quite gone away. Throws intercepted, picked off by the Cowboys, and they're going to run this back for a pick six. That is Deron Bland. Panthers have not scored more than 2 offensive touchdowns in 6 straight games. They've been held below 20 points in 8 of their 11 games. Under pressure, Parsons gets them back near midfield, and that takes the Panthers out of field goal range. Frank Reich began the season as head coach and play caller, but handed off play calling duties to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown after 6 games. Reich reassumed play calling duties for the last 2 games, but in both of those contests, the team failed to score more than 10 points. Young under pressure, hit by Parsons, another sack. For now, special teams coordinator Chris Tabor will take over as the team's interim head coach. He was the Bears' interim head coach for 1 game in 2021. Thomas Brown takes back the play calling duties. Last year, a coaching change did spark the Panthers. They went 6-6 after making the move. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update, brought to you by Morris Jenkins.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we are back. Segment number 3. We've passed the halfway mark on this Monday. 704-873-1400 if you'd like to call into the scoreboard. I hope everybody is fully recovered from the long extended weekend. Well, I hope you had a long extended weekend. Thursday being Thanksgiving. I'll tell you what, Thanksgiving, easily the best holiday. And I said it last week, I'll say it again. The best holiday. I ate so much food on Thursday that I ate barely anything. I did not eat anything on Friday until like 6 o'clock at night. I couldn't move for like 3 hours. That's how you knew that you did Thanksgiving right. That's for sure. And if you're not moaning and complaining that your stomach hurts, you didn't do it right. Come on now. Do better next year. Anyway, we're talking about the NFL right now and a couple of things to just put a nice little bow on our Carolina Panther talk. Currently, the way the NFL draft order shakes down, Carolina Panthers have the number 1 overall pick at 1-10, but oops, they don't own that pick. The Chicago Bears own that pick. Then it's the Arizona Cardinals at 2-10, New England Patriots 2-9, Chicago Bears 3-8, Washington Commanders 4-8, and at 6 now, the New York Giants at 4-8. And that's where I want to begin the conversation. The draft order. Because, well, it doesn't make sense to win when you're terrible. I know the players, the coaches, they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to win because, job security, money, all that stuff. But your front office might not be rooting for your team to win. The fans might not even be rooting for you to win. The New York Giants have won 2 games in a row. They were at one point number 3 in the draft order. They have a quarterback who is never really shown true potential of being a guy worth $40 million a year, but that's what they gave him. They have an offense that can't move the ball, the defense that is not the best, and somehow, some way, they've won 2 games in a row here. So the Giants go from the 3rd overall pick now to the 6th overall pick, and really there's no hope for them to have the number 1 pick. Arizona, I still believe that they have another win or two in them. I don't know exactly when it's going to come, but they have Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Seattle. It's a tough schedule. But that one game against Chicago is one to keep an eye on, because if you're the Cardinals and you win that game, you might be helping out the Bears. The Bears have the 4th overall pick right now. There is a small, minuscule chance that they end up with picks number 1 and 2 this year. They need a lot of help. But the team that I'm looking at the closest are the New England Patriots. Taking a look at their schedule for the rest of the year, they maybe have 1 or 2 wins left in them. They play the Chargers next week, and the Chargers are a weird team in general. And then to end the year, they have the Jets. But what if they lose? What if they have the number 2 overall pick this year? There has been a lot of chatter about Bill Belichick possibly leaving. Now, if the Patriots do end up with the number 2 or even the number 1 overall pick, does Belichick stay? Does he go get Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr.? There's a lot of quarterbacks out there to get this year. Jaden Daniels? Or does he jump ship like the reports have been saying and start fresh somewhere new? The Patriots are going to throw a monkey wrench into the entire offseason. It is clear that Mac Jones is not the future of any team. That was a bust. And, if you were listening to the scoreboard like 3 years ago when I don't even remember how long ago it was at this point. I told you he wasn't going to be good. He's not good. He's terrible. And he got benched midway through the game against the Giants. That Giants-Patriots game, it was bad. It was ugly, and it ended ugly on a missed field goal. I mean, talk about a bad football game. The rest of the NFL, though, here's how things shook out over the long weekend of games, because remember, we had 3 Thursday night games, or 3 Thursday games, a Black Friday game, our Sunday slate, and then tonight we have a slightly unwatchable Monday Night Football game. Let's talk about the Lions, shall we? Oh boy, the curse of the waxing gibbous moon, is that what we're gonna call it? What is this? The Lions are 0-14 on Thanksgiving when the moon is in its waxing gibbous phase. That is strange. That is just strange. And I said it on Wednesday. I said, that sounds like one where you could just go to the sports book, fly to Vegas, fly to wherever you have to do where it's legal, and just put all of your life savings on the Packers. You would have won. I jokingly, not jokingly, said, go do this. And the Packers ended up coming out victorious. Final score 29-22. Lions fall to 8-3 on the year. Game number 2 on Thursday was the Cowboys and the Commanders. I told you this one wasn't going to be a good one. It wasn't. 45-10. And then the one that was supposed to be the best game of Thursday night, 49ers and Seattle, ended up being just a dud. 31-13 final score there. It was never really a question. I mean, one defensive touchdown by the Seahawks was really what kept them in that game. The Sunday slate was quite interesting. The best game of the 1 o'clock window, easily Jaguars, Texans. Now, I know we've talked about the Texans and what they've been able to do over the past few weeks with C.J. Stroud as their quarterback. They are 6-5. As of right now, the Houston Texans are the first team out of the playoffs. Had they beaten the Jaguars, they'd be in. I'm not trying to upset anybody, but they had a really good draft class. And the C.J. Stroud to Tank Dell connection, that is going to be tough to stop for the next, 5-10 years. Texans have a chance to shock the world and go to the playoffs. Meanwhile, other teams that we've been keeping an eye, well, maybe not keeping an eye on, the AFC is a mess. Can I just say? I don't know who's going to win it in the AFC. You got 4 teams with 3 losses leading their divisions. Ravens 9-3, Chiefs 8-3, Jaguars 8-3, Dolphins 8-3. It's a mess. And then the last team in, 6-5. You also have 2 6-5 teams that currently aren't in the playoffs. And then behind that, you got the Bills at 6-6. It's a wild year in the AFC. The NFC is, don't even look. If you're above 500 in the NFC, you're going to make the playoffs. Unless you're in the, if you're in the NFC South, you don't even have to be 500. 5-6, 8-9, 7-10. You'll figure it out. You'll get in. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NFL before we get to the college football games, and something that I'm excited to hear what the college football playoff committee has to say, frankly. Stay tuned. One more segment on this Monday. We're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC. We're back after this.
There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The Docksiders, performing at Kane Center for the Arts on Saturday, December 9th, are almost sold out. The Docksiders will take you back to the year 1981. Their unique and electric tribute act of yacht rock features songs from Hall & Oates, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and more. The Docksiders, Saturday, December 9th at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Community Singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius. Each evening at a different church. Community Singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The Community Singers of Lake Norman, lakenormansings.com. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Enjoy some time with Santa and the Winter Wonderland experience. A classic Christmas in Mooresville, Friday, December 8th. For more info, visit mooresvillenc150.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Clear skies throughout the evening tonight, but that temperature will be dropping below freezing. We'll be at 28 degrees tonight. Heading into tomorrow, sunny skies, but we won't be warming up too much. We'll only have a high temperature near 47 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
Randy Marion in Statesville continues to grow. We have added Mitsubishi on Folger Drive. So what does that mean? That means great deals on a new make and model in Statesville, but it also means Ford Pre-Owned is moved right on Gateway Crossing Drive beside the Ford and Lincoln new car showrooms. So come see us today, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, pre-owned vehicles, Gateway Crossing Drive.
RandyMarionFord.com.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's The Scoreboard on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, final segment of the day here on The Scoreboard. Man, this show flew by. I hope you were able to catch the rant on the Panthers. Terrible management. You would think, nah, that's not worth it. 704-873-1400 is the number to call if you have something you'd like to talk about today. We don't have much time left, so we're going to try to speed through this last segment, get to as much information as we can. Game of the weekend, easy one here. Eagles-Bills. The Eagles coming into the game at 9-1. Bills clinging on to their playoff lives at 6-5. And it goes into overtime. Tied at 31. Josh Allen gets the ball, drives down the field, has an open receiver, and he misses him. Whew. Bills settle for a field goal. Eagles march their way downfield, score a touchdown, and end the game. Now, they were noting this during the broadcast on CBS with Nance and Romo. The overtime rule was basically changed because of Josh Allen. Because, well, Josh Allen plus the Super Bowl overtime debacle, plus when the Jaguars got in trouble in overtime. I mean, there were a lot of playoff overtimes where you could say, hey, the other team kind of got hosed. Well, after Josh Allen lost yet again in Cincinnati after the 13-second incident, the NFL said, okay, in the playoffs, both teams get to possess the ball no matter what. Well, that's not a regular season rule. So, on the Bills' first drive, on the Bills' only drive of overtime, they could have marched down the field, scored a touchdown, and ended the game. Unfortunately, they had to settle for 3. Now, I probably would have gone for it on 4th down anyway, considering Josh Allen's record in overtime and knowing who has the ball on the other side. One of the most dominant teams in the league, the best team in the league. You got to play to win. And taking a knee with 20 seconds left in the game in the 4th quarter and kicking a field goal in overtime, I'm sorry, but that is not playing to win. So the Bills fall to 6-6. The Eagles go to 10-1 on the year. I'm not changing my Super Bowl prediction. I still have the Ravens versus the 49ers, even though those Eagles, man, they look even better this year. And I'll tell you what, the brotherly shove, the tush push, whatever you want to call it, it's unstoppable when the Eagles run it. They have figured it out. Now, I'm wondering how other teams react, because if the NFL decides not to ban this, which they shouldn't, will other teams think about maybe hiring a specialty coach who knows rugby? Because that's very much a rugby play. It's just a scrum and just push as hard as possible. Now, the problem with that is, for the defense, once they run it 5, 6, 10 times and you see it on film, there's going to be that one time where you think you can stop it and they run some kind of play action and hit a receiver wide open in the back of the end zone or in the corner of the end zone. It's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of when. I wonder if these teams try to hire or look towards somebody with a specialty in rugby. Now, the rugby thing is not only something that the defense has to, think about. The left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jordan Mailata, he was a former professional rugby player in Australia. He knows a thing or two about these scrums. I'm sure that when they come up with these plays, when they came up with the tush push, he had a lot to say in how it was run because of his background being a former rugby player. He was also on The Masked Singer, in case you didn't know. That's pretty funny. But it is a rugby play, and it's a scrum, and the Eagles are the best at it. And it seems like nobody can stop. I remember, we've seen other teams try to run this tush push. We've had fails. We had one team had 2 injuries on a single tush push brotherly shove. Eagles are the best at it. Next week, though, we have Eagles-Niners. That's, man, if you aren't ready for that one, and that is a 4:25 primetime on Fox game. If you're not excited for that one, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, looking back again, the Ravens handled business against the Chargers, winning 20-10. The Broncos are the hottest team in the NFL right now. They're 6-5. Chiefs beat the Raiders, and tonight we have the 3-8 Bears going up against the 6-5 Vikings, and the legend of Josh Dobbs has a chance to continue tonight. We got about 5 minutes left, so I want to at least touch on college football and what happened over the weekend. Okay. Whew. I'm going to try to get through this without getting angry, because we have until Wednesday's show. Usually Tuesday night is when the college football rankings come out, the college football playoff rankings. The AP rankings are already out, and, we can kind of derive who's going to be ranked where based on those. But Ohio State fell 6 spots in the AP ranking, 4 spots down to 6th in the AP rankings, meaning Oregon did jump them. Now, this is where the element of human thought process and people deciding to pick the games is going to come into effect. We had Oregon handle Oregon State, 31-7. Oregon a 6 seed, Oregon State a 16 seed. You had number 4 Washington barely squeak out a 24-21 victory against a Washington State a team who is not only unranked, but they have a losing record. Now, I get it. It's a rivalry game and all. Are you going to bring your human opinion into that one? Should Oregon jump Washington because of that? Or are we going to knock Florida State down more because they didn't absolutely just run Florida into the woods? You know, it was more of a close game than you probably would have wanted. 24-15, and they were down in that one for a while. Human decisions. That's what it comes down to. What do the people want? And here's the thing about the playoffs. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but they put it on television. I'm going to say that one more time. The college football playoffs are on television, and it's massive, and the income is massive. Wouldn't you want your Heisman candidates playing in that game? Jordan Travis broke his leg. Why would the College Football Playoff Committee want to put Florida State in? Why wouldn't they want Oregon to jump in there? Could we see Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Oregon as the top 4, as Florida State stays at 5 and Ohio State goes to 6? I think so. And this wouldn't matter if we had a different playoff system. And I'm going to continue to beat that drum until it's better, because it's terrible. You're punishing a team for the injury of one player, and I'm talking about Florida State yet again. Here's my question to the people out here listening, as we only have a little bit of time left. This is one to really think about. Florida State won that game last week. Even with their quarterback going down, they won by over 40 points. If the quarterback didn't get hurt and their starting running back or starting defensive tackle or safety or anybody but the quarterback got hurt, would they have dropped them in the rankings? They won the game by a landslide. Just something to think about, because I know the answer. You don't even have to think that long. It's obvious. Hopefully we get to hear what the college football playoff rankings are before the show ends tomorrow. But I don't think that's going to happen, so we're going to have to wait until Wednesday to talk about that one. Monday Night Football tonight, you got basketball, you got hockey, you got a lot of other things going on. We'll see you here tomorrow, same time, same place on the scoreboard. This is WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.